You came in at, I mean, it's an understatement to say you came in at a strange time for the team and obviously a bit of a frantic time. What's the way you kind of make sense of the month or so that you just went through and watched this group kind of lose out on their goal?
Yeah, I mean, for me, coming in, I heard the noise before I got here, but my only job was to come here and try to help, and make the best of the situation, and try to fit in. And that's what I tried to do for the month that I was here. It's not a long time, so I didn't have a lot of time to really, do a whole lot. But while I was here, I was just trying to make the best of it, help the guys on and off the court, and just try to reach our goal. We came up short, but everybody was great. Everybody had a great attitude, and things like this happen. I know it's not normal for the Lakers organization, but I know from my experience, when I look back on this, I'm glad I made the decision to come here, no matter what happened.
We've had some other guys, including Wayne, including Kent, talk about just the frustration of watching things kind of turn a little bit and not being able to play the roles they imagined. Was that something you ever felt as a guy coming in sort of midstream, that guys who were like, oh, this is a new guy, like he's now we got to fit him in, we got to figure out his role in the rotation? Was there ever any tension between the guys who were already here when you were coming in?
Nah, I mean, that's one thing I could definitely say about this team. The group of guys that we had were great guys. You mentioned two of my favorite guys right there, Wayne and Bays. I mean, I've been in the league with those guys, played against them for the longest, and they definitely can still play at a high level. And that's just part of being in the NBA. There's going to be times when you're on teams where you don't get the same opportunities, and their opportunities were limited here, but at the same time, they came with a great attitude every day. They picked their teammates up every day, during games, during practice, and that's hard to do. A lot of fans don't know that. A lot of people on the outside don't know how hard it is for a guy who can still play and know he can still play at a high level, but have to put his pride aside to help his teammates and cheer his teammates on a daily basis. That's a hard thing to do. So those guys were great. The whole team was great. We had a lot of guys like that on this team.
DJ, beyond the injuries, what do you think could have changed or helped this team, or was the injury just so overwhelming that it just took everything out of you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I was here for a month, so but one thing I can tell you about the NBA is injuries can change the whole season. I've seen teams win championships because of that. I've seen teams lose championships because of that. So injuries, I guess you could say luck plays a big part in this league, especially at times like this. So for this team, definitely injury played a big part. Those guys I think didn't get to play together as much. Russ, AD, and Brian, and that's our three main guys. So that makes a difference. But I think it's a little bit of luck. Bad luck, good luck. Some teams have it, some teams don't, and that's what kind of went on this year. Just bad luck with injuries.
You said when you were on the outside, you heard some of the noise, and once you got on the inside, could you see ways that there was actual stuff and maybe some other stuff that was overblown?
If it was, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't really notice or pay attention because I was trying to learn plays. I was trying to fit in. I was trying to get to know how to play with different people. So I was kind of just focused on doing what I could do to help the team in that short amount of time, which is hard. And so honestly, I didn't really even notice anything negative that was going on within the locker room or outside, once I was here. I was just focused on doing my job and trying to learn as much as I can to help the guys win, help us get to our destination.
We saw the way you performed in Cleveland when the team was still very much in the hunt in a game that had significance. And we were also all aware that LeBron James is thrive with shooters around him. In your discussion with the front office, was there any discussion about what the future could look like?
I mean, this is a business. I've been playing for 14 years in the league. I know how this goes. Hopefully we do have some type of conversation this summer. But at this point, you never know. Coach Vogel, was let go today, which is, kind of a big loss for our organization and guys that knew him. So that's one thing that happened, and there's probably other things that may happen, and those things are probably more important than I am. So when that time comes, hopefully something is there. I'm definitely open to it, but nothing was said, nothing is expected. So
Considering you for a brief minute before this, you were out of the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you still have the passion to continue your NBA career? If you can find
yeah, that's something I did tell Rob and Kirk when I was up there, that I thanked them because when the Rockets did waive me, I was home for about 3 weeks. I had other teams calling me, but at that point I was kind of, I wouldn't say done, but I was, I guess, mentally kind of checked out, and just because of everything that went on in Houston and things like that. But by me coming here, it kind of, flipped the switch for me to get back into that basketball mindset and NBA player mindset that I loved for all these years, and it definitely put me in a place where I do want to continue to play, if things work out. Because at the point before I came here, I wasn't at that point. So I definitely appreciate them and the organization for doing that for me mentally.
I think I asked you some version of this in the Cleveland game, but Russ was talking today about just struggling to find a comfort level, and I think when you came in, he might have been sort of at a low, and then he had some pretty good games after he came in, including that Cleveland game. What changed for him toward the end of the year, having been his teammate before, and just kind of seeing what unfolded over the last month?
Yeah, I mean, Russ is my guy, and if you know Russ, it's hard to get in his head, basketball-wise, what he's thinking and what's going on. But the one thing I can say about him is that guy never quits. No matter what's being said about him, no matter how he's playing or how the season going, he's always available to play. He's always going to play hard and give it his all, and that's one thing I love about him. And he's a great guy off the court. So, basketball-wise, I don't know what changed for him at the end. We made him play better, in everybody's eyes. But I just think, everything he's been through this year and how the seasons went, I think for him to continue to play the way he's played all the way to the end, that's just, I tip my hat off to him.